You said about the new single Radio Player that it's a song about memory and fear, loosely based on seeing the movie Poltergeist at too young an age. What is it about memory and fear that holds significance for you today? And what echoes of your relationship to seeing Poltergeist too young break through, perhaps the
Yeah,
proverbial static?
yeah, awesome. I love this question. And I'm so glad that the photo, like those takeaways are resonating with the photo. It's great. My friend PJ Guinto here in Salt Lake City. I've actually never said his last name out loud, so I hope that
Huh.
I didn't just butcher that. But he took that photo and he had that old TV in the studio already. It was great because I had like just put the demo together of Radio Player, and I was like, I think this song is about Poltergeist. Do you want to do like a Poltergeist themed shoot with me? And he was like, Oh my
Mm,
God, I have an old TV. Let's do it. So it worked
cool.
out perfectly with that. But this song really came together in such an interesting way where the first several versions of writing it, I was like processing a lot of big, like family stuff that was happening a couple years ago. And I was thinking just a lot about memory in general, about how, because so much of the like this song specifically and a lot of the music I've been writing lately is exploring this relationship that I have with my like one actual sibling and like thinking about a lot of the shared experiences that we have from our childhood, but that we just have such different experiences and understandings of. And like I grew up with my dad and he grew up with my mom and they were split. So when we were together, it was like it was rare when we were in the same house or having similar experiences. But when we'd try to talk about these experiences as adults, our interpretation of what was happening was so drastically different that it just felt so interesting to me, where it's just like trying to find a ground level of understanding another human being is so difficult. And then you're like, oh, well, this person came from the same womb that I did and like grew up in the same place with a lot of similar circumstances. So like maybe there's a greater chance at being understood here. And my experience of this like trying to explore some of these childhood memories with this person was just like so the opposite of that, where it was just like, oh, you had such a drastically different experience of this thing than I did. So this like approach of trying to write this song through this lens of memory, it already felt so fuzzy to me and so like unclear of just like what's an actual memory? What is your interpretation of it? Where was I like making something up?
Hmm.
Or like just misremembering something. And I had tried writing this song a few different times and it had a lot of different endings. And it didn't mention anything about like TV static or TV light until like one of the last versions of the song. And I
Mm,
think it's because for a long time I was thinking of it. One of the name of the song is Radio Player, and the first line that came to me was Radio Player, I fell asleep, which was the first line of the song. And I was really focused on this idea of like memories as like radio stations that you're trying to pick up. And like them,
mm,
you like tune into just like little moments of them, but like the signal's not super clear, and you're like trying to understand. Maybe it's like an old song you love, or a sermon that's like on some crazy AM station or something that you like randomly pick up in the middle of the night, and just like thinking about memory and experiences through this like kind of radio static way. And like similar to how I was talking about how Jason Molina changes his like first person perspective a lot through songs, I am doing that a lot in this song as well, where the you and the I throughout this whole song, I think might be a little bit different every single time I
mm.
say it. And sometimes I don't even know. I'll like get through a song and be like, I don't know who's singing that last part, but I think I'm like figuring it out as I'm pulling it all together. But when I was struggling with the ending of this song because it felt really complete at the beginning of it. But when Jordan and I were trying to work through the production of it, we were like, it needs like the ending of it just isn't quite there. It needs a lot more work. I don't know where the lyrics should go. And one of the times I sat down to work on it again, I was remembering just like trying to pull from specific memories. And pulling from like things that were from movies that I just
Mm,
like saw way too little and was like confusing them with like real life things that did not happen or like did
mhm,
happen. And just like ending in this really confused place of just like, was that from this movie? Was that from this? Like I remember so like seeing the movie Poltergeist really young. That scene where the mom is in the kitchen and she's like showing the husband that the chairs are moving by themselves,
mm,
like the color of the floor, like the tile on the floor and the lighting in that room, like I remember being in that kitchen as a kid and it like seeing that movie again as an adult, I was like, I used to live there. And then I'm like, wait a second, no, I fucking did not. I absolutely did not live in that house. And just like looking at how memories intersect with just like this really interesting place of watching these movies and like trying to understand how something happened through somebody else's eyes. And so like reapproaching the ending of the song through this like TV static and how like TV it almost felt like the TV was more of the visual of the memories, while like the radio was more of the sound of them. So then I'm just like, sometimes I'll just throw too many ideas into a song and just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like try and make these connections and see what happens. So it's like
mhm.
the like TV static and TV light coming from this place where I started at this point of just like radio static. It was kind of like a noodly little maze that I went through, but I feel like it ended up in this place where it is just like feels like I'm in that kitchen and there's a TV on and there's a radio on and like I'm not sure who's there and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but like that's I tried my best to capture the feeling of all of it all together.